Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to introduce for you guys my client Isaac. Sorry, there's a little bit of a filming issue with the start. He didn't have the first few stuff in landscape, the leg day. We'll get on to the training. So, a little bit of history for Isaac. He's an advanced lifter. He is pretty much right at my Big Five strength standard. Now, for some people who are looking at him, we're joking around because he's bulking. He's like, I'm the fattest I've been in 5 years. But he's like, I want to get strong, and he's finally cracked a 300 bench. For a pause, he's finally cracked, that 200 overhead press. But he's actually been shredded in the past and really not that long ago. I mean, he's got pictures and stuff he could show you guys from a year ago to where he was, like 8-9% body fat. So he kind of comes a little bit from that background, and he's like, I just need to get bigger and thicker and stronger. I need to really, really take this up a level. He's like, I want a 350 bench, a 500 squat, 600 deadlift. And so people are going to notice this is going to be a little different. Some people will say, wait, he's on like a push, pull legs pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. We have a squat day, 5-3-1 type squat day, then a press day, which is benching, overhead pressing triceps, and then a deadlift day, which includes, again, his pulling, like pull-ups, curls, all that stuff, the pull type exercises. But again, we're doing hamstring work on the leg day. And some of his volume may look a hair lower. And here's what you have to remember when you're programming for a client. We've got to take them from where they are coming from. This is an individual with a very long time of very low frequency, low volume training. So a lot of people have noted already, yeah, this guy's pretty jacked, right? It's been noted when I showed some preview stuff. He has not done much training in terms of weekly volumes, okay? This is someone who sometimes has gone and only an hour in the gym per week. Like what? I'm talking 30-minute workouts twice a week. Sometimes 3 times a week. Very low volume, really heavy, very few sets, and then doing a fluff work, right? So in other words, this is someone who comes in and is trained that way. Squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, pull-ups, and then does pump work, light pump work for his arms and delts and everything, just to build them up. Okay, so he got strong on pull-ups, squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. Those 5 lifts, he's put a lot of work into getting as strong as he can on them with very few sets. Okay, taking stuff to about 1 rep from failure, but again, he needs to bring it up a notch. We've got to get thicker. And notice the difference in the legs. And it's worked good for his upper body, but his legs are lagging. He's barely at that 400 squat mark, right? We're at like a 480 deadlift. So I've got him at a 425 training max. He's pulled 480. Okay, so his lower body stuff is a hair behind. He can crank out pull-ups. He's got like a 205 standing press. So the upper body, it's worked decently well, especially since he does a little bit of pump work. But it's left his squat and deadlift lagging. It's left his legs lagging. And so we're going to get him thick. So right now, this is high volume for him. So again, people will look at this and go, I mean, it's basically a squat, bench, deadlift day 3 times a week. All right? And it is. I may eventually take him up to 4 days. He doesn't train 4 days a week. He doesn't have a history there yet. He's done years of this other. He's trained that way for years. But, by that same token, where are we with it? 300 bench, almost 400 up, 205 standing press. Okay. But let's come over and talk about that Big 5 strength standard that they're out there. What do I tell you guys? That if you reach the Big 5 strength standard, drug-free, you will look like you lift walking down the street to the average person, top to bottom. Okay? Stop and think about that, and stop and look at how this guy looks. Now, keep in mind, he can get shredded too. Again, he's got photos and videos of him under 10% body fat. So he knows how to get shredded. But back over to the point. You see this guy walking down the street in a shirt. You know he lifts. Right? You know he lifts. The lifts themselves went really, really well. The plus sets, okay, at 85% training max for this week, we got 9 reps on the bench, 8 on the squat, 8 on the standing press, 13 on the deadlift. All right, we've got to bring that training max way up on the deadlift. You guys will see when we get there. He got 13 reps. All right, we were very conservative. But again, he then when he gets to the 10s, he's like, oh my God, I'm dying. He's not used to that work capacity. We're going to get him up there. Now, keep in mind, though, that 13 is working off a 425 training max, so it's only 365. So what you guys will also see, we do a boring but big, even though we're doing a 3-day setup. Everything's the boring but big afterwards type template, which means 5x10 squats, which he struggled with, by the way. 5x10 bench, 5x10 overhead press, 5x10 deadlift, and then we do supplemental work. So in the case of, say, the upper body day here, the pressing day, again, he does all the pump volume on the bench press and the standing press after doing the plus sets, the peak work. And then we did triceps, right? So then I had him come in and do 5 sets of dumbbell extensions. Right, so we do 5 sets of dumbbell extensions. Again, finishing up those triceps. Now, a lot of people say, well, does this guy even need more tricep? He's we use more pec. But yeah, we could use the tricep. And he has a history of putting in the arm work. We don't want to lose the arms that he's built. Okay, in this quest for strength, the guy has built really good arms. We want to maintain and keep them going as we bring everything else up. Again, we give him his vanity thing. It's kind of that thing we come over to with the whole concept of, I tell you guys you can do heavy work and do a little bit of pump work to fill everything out. Get thick and then do your pump work where you want it. Okay, so he wants to look a certain way, so we do the extra arm work. All right, and this, again, a full range of motion dumbbell extension. All 3 heads of the triceps work. Make sure we finish off his triceps. Make sure we finish off those triceps. And we're going to have to do more of this for his leg day too. We're going to have to keep working on that to bring that up because, again, lower body in general is his limit. Pecs are probably limiting his bench a little bit, but people say, well, why isn't there more pec work? Because his bench and press are ahead. We can just do 1 day a week. And he's not used to that 5x10 on bench either. He doesn't train that way. So he's doing more pec volume than his training history dictates. Therefore, what's going to be the response? He's going to grow from it. Okay, so if our peak work goes up and we're doing more volume than we have historically done, and we've gone to a higher volume threshold, while in a calorie surplus, they're going to grow. His pecs are going to grow. His bench is going to go up. We don't need that much extra work. That 1 day will handle all his pressing strength, which is ahead. Now we can hammer the squatting, the deadlifting. Can hammer the squatting and deadlifting. And I will add more back work in later. But right now, again, we come back over to historical frequencies and volume. He doesn't have a history of training his back more than once a week. Now, we do want to work on this roll. I want to get him to where he learns to just get tight and stays tight, right? Where we get that bar in position and drop it down and don't re-roll. People say, well, Eddie Hall re-rolls. Well, number 1, Eddie Hall's fat. Number 2, Eddie Hall is wearing a deadlift suit when he does that. Deadlift suit with straps. Hey, Isaac's going raw here. He's raw dogging it. He's just got a belt on and chalk. That's a different exercise. He also doesn't have a big belly. The fat bar roll or the fat boy roll is kind of what that is usually. You guys notice for me now that I've gotten very lean, notice what my deadlift stance looks like. My heels almost touch. All right. Now in this case, he's coming in and he's just trying to get through this 5x10. I want him to slow this down a little bit. He's trying to just pump through it. He's like, oh my God, I'm not used to this. It's cardio, right? We'll get that conditioning up. Of course, then as you guys see, he's pretty good at pull-ups. No problem here. So even after all that volume deadlifting, which makes pull-ups harder, I'm someone who deadlifts on a lot of weight with a lot of volume, and I do pull-ups after, and I can tell that doing pull-ups after deadlifting versus pull-ups after benching, it's way harder. Way harder. And then he finished up, he did one of the sets of curls to show off for the camera. He's like, I'm going to show off and go heavy and do a kind of cheat curl with a lot of weight. And he's like, I think I strained my forearm slightly. It's like, I'll recover. He'll be fine by Monday to train, but he noticed that little bit of inflammation. It's like, I shouldn't be trying to show off. I'm like, exactly, don't show off for the camera, brother. It's all good. Get in and train. But that being said, I mean, he is repping some pretty good weight there, even for a cheat type curl. And again, the guy's got arms. Right, he has arms. But this is going to be a fun vlog for people to follow because it really matches a lot of what I talk about on my channel. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.